Here is a fact that almost no one is reporting correctly. On February 26, 2026, 2 days before the United States and Israel bombed Iran, Iran was sitting at a negotiating table in Geneva, Switzerland, presenting a peace proposal.
He says the negotiations have been the longest and most serious yet. He says differences remain, but that the sides discussed elements of an agreement on Tehran's nuclear program and the easing of sanctions. Washington and Tehran have said they want a diplomatic solution to avert a full-scale military conflict.
They were offering a years-long pause on uranium enrichment, broad international verification, and a commitment to not stockpile enriched material. A follow-up round of technical meetings was already scheduled for the week of March 3rd. The bombs dropped February 28th. So the question every serious analyst should be asking is, what happened between February 26th and February 28th? What closed the diplomatic window in 48 hours? The answer is not the United States. It's not Israel. It's China. In the weeks leading up to the war, reports emerged that China was shipping Iran its CM-302 missiles, a supersonic anti-ship weapon designed specifically to destroy aircraft carriers. Now those missiles wouldn't give Iran immediate capability because you can't just unbox a carrier killer and fire it. Training takes time. Integration takes time. But here's why that shipment mattered so much. It set a ticking clock. Think about that. From the US and Israel, every week those missiles sit in Iran, they get closer to being operational. Every week you wait, the military operation you're planning gets harder. The window to strike before Iran has a credible carrier-killing capability is closing. It's closing because of a Chinese weapons decision. So you move February 28th. The president of China deliberately triggered this war to bleed America while China watches from a safe distance. Or was it a miscalculation? China's role in this war is very deep. And to understand why China's role in this war is so deep, you need to understand what China actually was to Iran economically. In 2025, 87.2% of Iran's crude oil exports went to China. Not 50%, not 60%, 87.2%. China was not just a trading partner. China was the entire economic lifeline, keeping Iran viable under decades of Western sanctions. China supplied the guidance systems, the propellant chemistry, and the components found in Iranian missile warheads. Hudson Institute confirmed this. Every warhead carries Chinese components. And here's the detail that reveals the relationship most clearly. When Houthi forces directed by Iran were attacking Western shipping in the Red Sea, they were selectively targeting US, Greek, and Cypriot vessels. Chinese and Russian ships sailed through, paying normal insurance premiums while everyone else paid triple. Iran was running an asymmetric protection racket, and China had a permanent exemption built in. China didn't just support Iran diplomatically. China built the financial and military architecture that made Iranian defiance of the West economically sustainable for years. This is why the Hormuz closure hurts China so disproportionately. China built a discounted oil supply chain through Iran specifically to bypass Western financial systems. The US-Iran war didn't just destroy a military threat. It destroyed China's entire alternative energy supply architecture in a single operation. So how does China respond once the war starts? They send a mediator, dispatched him to the region to quote-unquote call for peace and stop the conflict. At the same time, China's premier Li Qiang stood up at the National People's Congress and told the Chinese people that multilateralism and free trade are under severe threat. He set a growth target of 4.5 to 5%. Independent economists estimate China's real growth is closer to 2.5 or possibly even negative. Real unemployment is estimated at 20% in China. Youth unemployment potentially double that amount. And simultaneously, China entered private talks with Iran to negotiate safe passage through Hormuz specifically for Chinese flagged ships. While the strait was closed to Western commercial shipping, China was negotiating a back channel exemption for itself. So let's be precise about what China is doing. They armed Iran. They supplied the weapons shipment that closed the diplomatic window and made war inevitable. They are negotiating to keep their own oil flowing while everyone else suffers, and they're calling themselves a peacemaker. China's mediation isn't about peace. It's about protecting China's remaining access to Iranian oil while the US does the work of destroying China's military adversaries. Now, let's zoom out real quick and look at what the United States actually accomplished with respect to China, because this is where most analysts completely misses the picture. The Iran war is not just a military operation against Iran. It is simultaneously an economic operation against China. China's discounted oil supply is destroyed. Iran was selling China discounted oil that bypassed Western financial systems, avoided sanctions enforcement, and gave China an energy cost advantage. That advantage is now gone. China's gas spiked 11% and diesel 13.5% within days of Hormuz closing. The timing is deliberate. Trump is scheduled to meet Xi in Beijing in April 2026, which is less than a month. He is going into that meeting having just demonstrated willingness to use military force preemptively, having cut China's oil supply and having organized Latin America against Chinese influence. I can touch on that in a different video. That's a whole different topic. Trump is going into this talk with Xi with maximum leverage. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit the bell, because this is not it. Next video, I'm going to show you why attacking Iran may have actually made Iran more dangerous. I'll see y'all in the next video.